Next, I'm so excited to introduce Sam Andrews, who's a friend of mine. She's the Senior Managing Director and leader of our Slalom office that we call TOLA. It stands for Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. She's our leader here. She's a local Dallas citizen. And Jennifer Zientz, who is the Director of Programs for Center for Brain Health, to set up some context for the day around the business side of all of this.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, Natalie. Okay, I'm going to double tap a little bit on what Sandy already said. Think about these two things. The average American is going to spend about 90,000 hours at work over their lifetime. It's a lot, right? Okay, hopefully you think, wow, that's a lot. Okay, second thing, neuroplasticity is real. Our brain, as Sandy already said, our brains change every single day by what you do. So when you think about these 90,000 hours across your lifetime, and let's say on average, maybe you're at work 8 hours, you spend 8 hours a day with your work, that's a lot of opportunity for the workplace to mold and to build and to shape what our brains actually look like and how they function. And we can do it in a lot of healthy ways, but mostly we do it in maladaptive ways. And the workplace is really pervasive in maladaptive habits that we have. But we can change that. It's super cool. Okay, so what has the science taught us? We have done a lot of different work in the workplace and on different size scale. What has the science taught us? Number one of the first things is that providing metrics that are performance-based, not a diagnostic, that are you versus you, not you versus everyone, actually can provide a competitive advantage. Why? Because these assessments can give us individualized direction, and they engage us and empower us to activate our own agency to action, meaning that there's things that you can do. Assessment doesn't have to just be about diagnostics or not, which is typically the way we think about the brain. Whenever we go in for a brain assessment, it's always around what's wrong. We need to bring in performance-based measures so that we know how we can direct and do things better. The second thing that we've really learned is that it's really not that hard. Simple brain health tactics make a difference. And when I talk about tactics, I'm not saying it's additional add-on things, now I have to do this and everything else. It's really about how I do everything differently. How do I optimize my performance through everything that I'm doing? You got probably, hopefully, a lot of ideas about how you could optimize just through that toxic quiz. When we've actually worked with groups, these kinds of tactics yield real results. Some of these results we've seen upwards, we have a lot of different data, I'm just pulling from one data set, upwards of 17% increases in clarity. What is clarity? Clarity is our ability to be possibility thinkers, to be strategic, to know how to use our mental energy the most effective way possible, for us to read between the lines, for us to make decisions. We've seen an 11% increase in our emotional balance. What's that? It's our ability to deal with adversity. We have tons of adversity, right? And so how is it that we're actually able to manage that? And a 20% increase in our connectedness. And connectedness is to people. This is, just like Sandy said, this is one of the most important things that's coming in the workplace, is our ability to connect and to be team players, not just with our team, but with our clients and across the board in how we build relationships and partnerships. But also purpose with our work. So how many times people get burned out because they lack their own personal efficacy in what they're doing? We've seen improvements in different burnout components as well. So this is really important. We've seen 21% increases in mental energy across the day, so you don't have to go home at the end of the day smoked. We've seen a 16% increase in productivity, 22% improvement in engagement, and that's just like from on an individual level. The third thing that we've learned is that leadership and team buy-in, participation, and accountability matters. That's what helps to drive impact and results. So you're going to hear more about this later, but I just want to give you some of these cool things. We've seen 19% increase in teams seeking, feeling like they can, and actually acting in seeking opportunities to be creative in their work. We've seen 30% increase in being able to complete critical tasks without being distracted. Bing! We've also seen a lot of ROI in terms of revenue and time, and so you are going to be hearing a lot about that. But I just really want to leave you guys with this message that brain health in the workplace is not solely about wellness. It is about performance.
Thanks, Jen. Show of hands. Who is going through change right now and is either excited, anxious, or concerned? Okay. Just wanted to do a gut check. I know that I'm already thinking about the frontal lobes and what's happening in my own physical being. But just to springboard off of what Jen just shared, when we talk about performance, innovation, and the future of work, we talk about technology, AI platforms, process, productivity metrics. But as we have heard so far and what we'll hear throughout the day, the greatest performance engine in any organization is not the system. It is the human brain. Every bold strategy, every breakthrough idea, every courageous decision, every relationship built on trust, it all begins there. But if we look at the way we work, and we saw this with the Mentimeter a little bit ago, constant notifications, back-to-back meetings, decision fatigue, pressure to move faster, produce more, respond instantly, we've built workplaces that demand peak performance. And to maintain this level of performance, we need to care for the very organ that's responsible for it. Chronic stress doesn't just make people tired, it shrinks creativity, it narrows thinking, and it erodes judgment. Over time, as we've heard earlier, sustained stress alters the brain itself, which introduces the risk for Alzheimer's and dementia later in life. And the global cost of diseases already exceeds $1 trillion each year. This is not just a wellness issue. It's not a benefits program. It's not a soft conversation. It's really a leadership responsibility because we design the systems. We set the pace and we role model the behavior. Just this past week, you might have seen in the news, Olympian champion and Stanford student Eileen Gu brought neuroscience right into the spotlight. She talked about neuroplasticity and the brain's remarkable ability to rewire itself through deliberate practice. We can actually train and improve our brain to be better. Her message, the brain is not fixed. It can grow stronger, it can build resistance, and it can be trained for performance. This applies to elite athletes, and it applies to all of us and the organizations that we lead and that we are a part of. Imagine workplaces where focus is protected, where recovery is respected, where learning is continuous, where leaders understand that clarity is a competitive advantage. Imagine cultures that extract output and actively protect the cognitive capacity of their people. This isn't idealistic, it's strategic. Because the organizations that protect the brain will think clear, they'll move faster, they'll adapt more intelligently, and they will outlast. And they will create and empower leaders who are not just successful, but well. We have an opportunity this week to do more than just listen, more than learn. Every one of us is experiencing a tremendous amount of change and transformation, and we have the opportunity to lead differently. To go back to our day jobs and really reframe the question that we're all wrestling with. How are we designing work that strengthens our brain? How are we modeling resilience instead of burnout? How are we building cultures and future-proof our profits and our people? Because in the end, protecting our brain health isn't just about performance, it's about legacy. And the leaders who understand that will shape the future. So, call to action. I loved the comment earlier about synthesizing your learnings, leverage your books, really challenging yourself to think about what you're going to take away and what you're going to create when you go back to your day-to-day to improve not only your brain health, but also advocate for those within your organization, as this is, obviously a sense of urgency for us to be able to future-proof the workplace. Thank you.